Aloha everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. Stock indexes had a pretty decent consolidation session overall. Volume was below average and lower on the New York Stock Exchange, and on the NASDAQ it was slightly higher but well below average. I guess it's a technical distribution day, but it's barely technical distribution day, and the NASDAQ still above the 50-day moving average. And the overall best price action from the session came from the Russell 2000, which was actually up today while the rest of the market pulled back ever so slightly. So while it was a good consolidation, I still wasn't happy with the way the session played out. I knew it would be choppy, probably knew it would have a negative bias, but I kind of was hoping, I had slight hopes that it would end up being a great session for the indexes. But it looks like the Fed basically said today that the economy is hot, it's heating up. Gold and silver and oil all made very strong moves today. Oil hitting new highs, the DBO and UCO especially standing out, and overall commodities look hot. So, it's a okay session, but instead of hiking rates 2 times in 2019, they're indicating that they're going to do it 3 times now, which I guess, if I've got the number right, I injured my back pretty badly today, guys, so I'm kind of in a weird, loopy state of mind right now. If that's exactly what they said for 2019, that's the reason why the market didn't quite get going today. But that being said, my long positions did very well. My can slim and perfect speculator scan looked good. And most importantly, I had very few stops triggered today, and I only raised about $10,000 with those stops. So for 4 sessions in a row, since being fully invested while this market is chopped around, I have now raised less and less capital each session. So the last 3 or 4 sessions, I'm not sure how many it is, but the pattern is pretty clear. Now on the big down day on the 19th, I believe lying just a little bit, I raised a little bit more capital than the session before, obviously. However, it wasn't by much. So for 2 sessions now in a row, while the market's basically been going nowhere, I've raised less and less capital, and my long positions look stronger and stronger and stronger. Does not mean that they will continue to work or break out, but for now it looks good. The only slight small issue, but not, it's what it was expected, is that I only had a few long signals. I have a pretty good add signal in VRS. VRS is triggering a pocket pivot point signal on above average volume. BOP was higher than the session before, and we got a strong candle over candle right above the 50. It's not up over 5%, so I don't consider it chasing. It's still touching the 5, 10, and 20-day moving average. So I want to add to VRS. Limit order high day 1794. First cut loss 1670. Second cut loss on the add 1598. It's in my price volume BOP scan also, so technically it would be like 5%, but for now I'm just considering it canceling perfect speculator. Normally 4%, half it 2%. Now, like I said, the total capital I raise is about 2.5% of my entire account value, so everything this evening will be split up. But VRS should get anywhere from 2 to 2.5% if you have the available capital. The highest quality new long position is CADE. It's hard to see on this chart, but it did do more work near the high of the day than the low of the day. I think it was like 17-cent spread here to 19 cents. And with the Max Green BOP holding, I had a lot of small regional bank stocks give actionable signals, but they all lost their higher green BOP levels on today's session. The only one that didn't from my canceling scan, CADE. So I'm going to go long CADE. 2% of my account capital into CADE. Obviously, I don't have it, but that's what it's supposed to be. 28.21, the high of the day. First cut loss right there, 27.67. Final cut loss right there, 26.99. And the final long signal is GSVC. I had a tough time deciding if I wanted to go long this stock or not, because to me it's wide and loose, and it's obvious that it's wide and loose. I mean, look at this base, the V move, compared to like just how it moves whenever it's quiet and calm. But still, it has a habit of still working through V-shaped moves. So even though it's slightly extended, it did show up in my ETF scan, since it's a closed-end fund. They're in the ETF scan. It was also my price volume BOP surge scan. It's almost in my green BOP for 20-day scan. Perfect speculator stock, pocket pivot point signal. So I figured might as well try it. I'm not going to put much capital into it because, like I said, I don't have much capital on hand anyway. So 912 limit order. first cut loss 838, and for now 817 final cut loss. Maybe you don't take it as a trade. It is extended from the 20-day moving average, and it's wide and loose. But there were a lot of stocks I decided to pass on from the Perfect Speculator scan, like Luna, CLSD, off the top of my head, NVGS. This seemed like the only one that made a good price move and held its green bop, along with the pocket pivot point signal that isn't too extended. So I'm taking that one. Luna, in my opinion, has just too much red with the V-shaped movements in there. CLSD, too far off the high of the day with it being extended from its 20, 5200, and NVGS, even though I like it, BOP is going the wrong way, so got to pass on that one too. So that's how I ended up with GSVC. It should be 3%, 1% low price Perfect Speculator, low ETF price volume BOP, but half it, so 1.5%. My account capital is supposed to go into that. But GSVC, CADE, and VRS, that's it on the long side. On the sell side, FTNW is closing below its 20-day moving average on above average volume. 50% sell signal today's low a day. It's currently up 112% since my long signal back here, since my entry. BAC, the warrants, they failed today. Wow, Josh. Told you my back was going to be a factor. There we go. Okay, back failed today. This was the entry here, closing below the 50-day moving average on above average volume. 7% loss. And Oil D, this one needs to be fixed because of its reverse split, but the buy was back here. It's fully failing below all of these lows here, so it's completely failed. 13% loss on an end-of-day basis, but obviously I've been knocked out of all of it. Intraday before today's close. GSM, I am still long. That's a 6% loss. I'm moving all of my remaining stops to 1 cent below today's low a day. BAC.WS.B, I still have 30 shares, moving all of that to 1 cent below today's low a day. Oil D, I'm already out, and FTNW, I'm moving half of my current sell stops, not to today's low a day 2020. I'm going to give it a little bit of extra breathing room with that reversal and it being above the 50-day moving average. So I'm moving half of my sell stops to 1 cent below 1985, 1984. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the chat room during the pre-market on Thursday. Aloha.